This video is about why you should never ever call yourself a coach, a consultant, a web designer, or anything like that online if you want to get more visibility, clients, and ultimately get noticed. And in this video, we'll cover exactly what you should call yourself instead, and we will even give you the prompts so that you can go and run this yourself and get a tagline and a positioning statement. What's a tagline and positioning statement? It's language that will help you stand out, that you can use anywhere on any social media platform, on your website, the hero section. What's the hero section? Just the top of your website, so that people immediately feel you are different. And you might be thinking, oh, I've seen loads of client avatar videos and videos about positioning and positioning statements. And I can assure you this video is not about that. It's actually about category design. It's based on this book I read, and I read this book, implemented this book into my business. We've done over 2.5 million cash collected on the principles that we are about to share in this video. And I'll even talk you through what we did in a busy coaching consulting market, because we are 80% up on last year. So with that said, why is it not a good idea to call yourself a coach and consultant? Well, let's think about the dynamics of the market. Let's think about, because this is about fundamentals, the fundamentals of supply and demand. If there's a lot of something, it's very difficult to command or justify a higher price, because by the very nature of there being a lot of something, it becomes a commodity. That's, by the way, why diamonds are worth so much, because there's not many of them, and it takes them, hundreds, if not thousands of years to form through the natural processes underground. But when you look online, not only are you dealing, if you look at LinkedIn, hundreds of thousands of coaches, hundreds of thousands of business coaches, Instagram's even worse. And more than that, we're now dealing with the invasion of fake AI profiles who also call themselves coaches and consultants, and web designers and graphic designers, SaaS designers, business development reps, any commoditized language. By the very nature of using that commoditized language, you don't own that language, you can't stand out with that language, and everyone's, by the nature of seeing that language and the way the human brain works, more on that in a moment, they're going to think you're the same as everyone else. And what do I mean by that? You might be thinking, well, why would people think I'm the same? Because I'm a different type of coach. I'm a different kind of consultant. Well, let's just run an experiment, shall we, live on this video. I want you all not to think of pink elephants. Sorry, but the likelihood is now a pink elephant, you've thought of a pink elephant. Why have you thought of a pink elephant? Because the way the brain processes information, it has to first enter the brain, and then we decide what we do with that thought. We decide if we keep it, we stay with it, we dwell on it, we move on. We decide exactly what we're going to do with it before it then exits. So when someone says they're a coach, immediately people will attach that word to their existing belief systems, their background, the things they've experienced, the stories they've told themselves. And if they've dealt with other coaches, they will, maybe if they're a bad coach, they'll think, oh, I don't want another coach, you're gone. Or maybe if they don't know what a coach is, you're gone too, because marketing is ultimately about controlling the perception of what people think about us, isn't it? What do I mean by that? Well, marketing is just a very simple way to think about it, is people want to know what you do and what you can do for them, not what you can do for other people, for them. Or put another way, everyone's favorite subject is what's in it for me. More than that, a problem. What's a problem? The most powerful way you can do this and do this statement, and we'll jump into it in a minute with these principles, is by building around a problem and creating a category. This is the principle in this book, create a category. What's a category? Instead of being a coach or a consultant or a web designer, be somebody that's in a category of one, because then by the very nature of what you do, you are standing out. So let's go over and go into how to do this on ChatGPT and AI, whatever AI platform you're doing it, because it's really, really simple. And I'm going to summarize everything I learned from the book and over 5.5 years of building a business, so that you feel good about your positioning and people think, wow, that person's different. And let's go on to here, shall we? So you can see here, oh, I forgot to mention, the first thing we'll do, I had to choose something. So we'll just choose a leadership coach. You don't need to be a leadership coach. You could be a business coach. You could be a consultant. You could be agile transformation. You could be a software development. You could be a business development executive. All you would do is just substitute the word here for what you do. Now let's run through it. Give me 10 problems that a leadership coach would solve in a mid-market organization. And you would just, obviously, you would just transfer out the language so it's right for you. So why is it important to position around a problem? Well, on a Monday morning, if you think about your ideal prospects on a Monday morning, they're not all going, oh, I need to hire a leadership coach, or I need a parenting coach, or I need this, or I need that. An example is this: we have a parenting coach, and when my son Sam and my daughter Sienna are being difficult, the last thing I say to myself is, oh, I need a parenting coach. I say, what do I do here? And anyone's a parent, if you're watching this, you're like, what do I do? How do I help this person to manage their emotions, or feel their emotions, or experience the right things? I don't immediately, in the crux of a problem, say, oh, I need a parenting coach. So we want to speak to the problem they're feeling, right? So here we are. Here are 10 problems relating to the leadership coach. All right, turnover rates. That's probably what we'll go with, to be honest. Let's have a look. The conflict resolution. All right, so they're really, really simple ones. I like high turnover rate. Why do I like high turnover rate, and how should you interpret the input that you're getting from this? Look for something that's obvious. Look for something that's, no matter what you sell, it's going to save them time or make them money, or ideally both. If it does all of those things and they're aware of it, then you're in business. And high turnover rate, that works. Why does it work? Because it costs money, it's time invasive, it costs a lot of time, and they're going to be aware of it because it's a number. Something like here, like low employee morale, it's good, but it's not great. It's not good to create a category there because they might not be aware. They might be living in la la land. I think we've all had a manager like that, right? But you can't avoid the number of high turnover rate. So let's do that. Then let's go to the typical root cause. Why are we doing the typical root cause? We want to know the root cause just to inform our marketing. We may or may not speak to the root cause because, again, it's got to be something they're aware of. But let's run it and see, because it might give you different output. And if you stay to the end, you'll see this. And by the way, all the prompts are downloadable below. You can download the links below. All right, embedded orientation, limited growth and development opportunities. I like this one. It seems trivial, but we could work with this one. And I'll explain what I mean in a minute. Negative work environment and culture. I like that one because they likely have awareness. A lot of companies have that. And there's a direct correlation with a toxic work environment and a high turnover. And again, you would just apply this to your business and you'll get all the website and all that sort of stuff. So let's go with how does it get solved normally? Why are we asking how does it get solved normally? Because if we want to stand out and create a category, we have to know what we're going to be compared to. We have to know what the other options are that people will look at already addressed, so we don't trigger that thought in their mind. So let's go with how does 5 get solved normally? Values alignment, communication, transparency, leadership development, training and education. All right, so here's all the typical sort of stuff that you're immediately going to be compared to when you position yourself and when you market to solve these problems. But we're not interested in doing those. We're interested in the problems people have got hiring these people, so we can leverage ChatGPT to create our own category on our own marketplace design based on the principles here. Unrealistic expectations, timeline, lack of commitment, okay, resistance to change. These are all big ones, and ChatGPT is so good for crunching this data. And let's ask it the golden question. How can marketing be positioned to solve this problem and differentiate, it should say? Differentiate along the particles of creating a book from the book category designers. It knows the book, right? ChatGPT knows the book. Oh, okay, so here we are. This is good. Create a new methodology. This is something that a lot of people use. And how does this go back to coaching v consulting? Let's compare it. I am a coach. I am a life coach. I'm a parenting coach. I'm a business coach. It means absolutely nothing, and there's hundreds of thousands of them. Versus, I help mid-market organizations to detoxify company culture using, we'll go to this in a minute, X framework that is different to all of these other businesses. Can you see how we're already moving along? I'll show you how to do the rest of it now. So let's go back to, let's take 6. So we're going to take the number, give me some framework names. So we're going to go with the framework names and taglines for a website hero section or LinkedIn profile. Any social media platform's good, right? So let's take, it's number 4. Let's take 4 framework names and okay, I don't like these all of these, and it gives, so what do you do when you don't like them? You go back and you ask more. Let's go, I need to be door different. Let's get 10 more and speak more directly to eliminating. There we go, let's have a look. Okay, here we are. I like that. Empowerment over toxicity. So let's go back to the next questions. I like this. So let's go get more. Okay, I like number 7. Let's go with 7. Perfect. Now we've got the results we want. So let's compare. I'm a leadership coach. I help companies transform workplace culture, one toxicity at a time. Or make it even more granular. I help mid-market organizations transform workplace culture, one toxicity at a time, so that they retain more staff. Can you see how this video, can you see how in the space of 6 or 7 minutes, we've moved away from generic positioning that everyone's using, and we now have the raw materials to build a great LinkedIn tagline, a great website hero section, and we can go even further. And by the way, you can download this below. And I'm actually going to, just to finish, give you a real life example of how we did this with a coach who was coaching founder-up startups called Jody. And we positioned her as decision support instead of coaching or consulting. What's decision support? Exactly. We looked at the problem that startup founders had, which was making a lot of decisions, making them very, very quickly. Parents make decisions. People make decisions about their health. They make a lot of them. So this is one you could take from watching this video and apply it to your niche, because everyone's like, I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, versus decision support for busy startup founders, decision support for busy parents. We help you make difficult decisions even when your kids are screaming. We help you make difficult decisions even when you've got no one to turn to in your business and at home. And all of a sudden, we're moving into creating a category as opposed to using language that everybody else is using, and we're positioning around a problem. So I hope that has been really, really useful. As a reminder, all of these prompts are downloadable below. Have a wonderful day, all right?